2007 was one of the worst years in WWE history for a lot of reasons, and this is one of those. So, what exactly happened in 2007 that made it so bad? Now, a lot of it was not WWE's fault. There was a lot of stuff that was just not clicking. And then the big thing is that a lot of the top guys were getting injured. So much so that they had to give the great Khali the World Heavyweight Championship. And the only reason why Khali was the champion is because Edge got injured, who cashed in on Undertaker, who was also injured. It was just injury after injury after injury. Triple H and Rey Mysterio come back on this show. And it was just a big headache to just get some guys going. And then to top it off, this was the summer where we unfortunately had the Chris Benoit tragedy that put WWE on just a big gap of people caring or wanting to watch professional wrestling, given the circumstances. They were even supposed to have Umaga take on the cast of Jackass, and they opted out after the bad publicity that WWE was getting from that. So it was just that this show really suffered from that, and then to top it off, they just had nobody on the card to give you a good show. They just kind of threw in the top names that they got, and then worked with what was available. Kane defeated Finley in a very forgettable match. I mean, the two have good chemistry. They have a solid match, but for the most part, I cannot remember why they were feuding. Even watching the match, hearing the commentary, this was around the time commentary was starting to suck because they couldn't even tell you why they were fighting. But anyways, Kane beat Finley. Moving on. Like I mentioned, Umaga was supposed to take on the cast of Jackass. Instead, now he has to defend the Intercontinental Championship against Carlito and Mr. Kennedy. And to me, this match, personally, if I had it my way, I think Kennedy should have won because I think what Kennedy was missing was a mid card title run. Yes, he had the U.S. belt, but I think he would have been a great IC champion. Now, around this time, the mid carders weren't giving you the classics like, say, Gunther was giving you, or The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, and later on and so forth. But Mr. Kennedy was a character. He was fun. He was entertaining. And personally, he was way much better at that than he was a world champion. If anything, Umaga was ready to be a top world championship contender. Or should I say, Umanga. Yeah, I really thought that this match was just three guys thrown in together. I don't even remember why this started. Outside of they just needed to throw in people just for the sake of it. And I believe Jeff Hardy was injured. Otherwise, he would have been in this match because, let's be honest, or unless he got suspended. I don't know what happened. But yeah, Umanga for the victory. Then we have the first of two returns this night. Rey Mysterio comes back to take on Chavo Guerrero, the man who injured him. And it kind of sucks because Chavo Guerrero didn't do squat after injuring Rey Mysterio. He had a couple of matches with Benoit for the U.S. belt, which amounted to nothing. Chavo Guerrero was off the radar, so the fact that he comes back and fights Rey Mysterio was like, really? This? Now, the match was great. It was actually far better than my expectations. And the match kind of threw me off with Rey Mysterio. So around this time, Rise of the Silver Surfer, the Fantastic Four sequel, was coming out. So naturally, Rey Mysterio wanted to impersonate Silver Surfer, so he had all silver coloring. And by the end of the match, he was back to his normal self because of the paint melting. It was all over the ring and Chavo, and it was just it was a little bit distracting. But hey, you know what? We at least got a good match out of it, and I was happy to see Rey Mysterio back because damn it, we needed somebody back. Around this point, I don't remember when, but just before I forget, MVP had a segment celebrating him being a U.S. champion. Matt Hardy, we're supposed to drink a beer, and then Stone Cold comes out, attacks MVP. Moving on. We had a women's bikini battle royal to determine who will face the women's champion, and then it ended up being Beth Phoenix. They should have just had the women's championship match, unless that women's champion was injured. I don't know who it was. Was it Melina? I can't remember who it was. But anyways, this match happened. John Morrison versus CM Punk, where John Morrison sneaks up the victory. I thought that this should have been the Extreme Rules match that we got later on in ECW. I remember that match. Now, I wasn't a huge ECW watcher at this point, but people would tell me, like, oh, you got to go back and watch this and this and this. And, yeah, that Punk and Morrison match where Punk gets the victory, yeah, that should have been this match. This one was alright, but it was very clear that they were still building up John Morrison to be, like, this upper mid-card heel champion. And, personally, John Morrison, like, they were so desperate for stars in the 2010s. Where the hell were... Why did they not push John Morrison? He's one of the most underrated, underutilized superstars you got. And plus, he started in movies. You could have taken advantage of that. Damn, they're so stupid sometimes. But yeah, solid match. Triple H comes back, the second return of the night, and he faces King Booker. Yes, Booker T was basically on the way out. He was injured. He was supposed to take time off after this, but he was willing to work the match because SummerSlam was very desperate for people. Triple H comes back, gets the victory, whatever match. It was just one final middle finger to Booker T in the WWE by Triple H. Khali and Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship. I can't believe I'm saying that. You would think that Batista would get the victory, get a big cheerful moment. You would think that's the route they would go. Instead, they go the route of Batista winning by DQ. Ranjan Singh gives Khali a chair. Khali doesn't understand English. He doesn't understand no DQ. He hits Batista anyways. Batista loses it, beats the crap out of Khali. Honestly, the Batista tried his best with giving you the most entertaining match possible out of the Great Khali, but he just sucks. Eventually, we should have gotten a triple threat match between Khali, Batista, and Mysterio here at SummerSlam, not Unforgiven. They could have told the story of Batista and Rey Mysterio are two great friends. Can they coexist and beat the Great Khali? Or will their egos get in the way and they will cost each other the victory? That could have been the story they could have told, but instead we get this bullshit. But then we get the main event, and thank God, because this saved the show from being an F. John Cena beats Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Now, I would understand people hating John Cena because, he was a lengthy champion. He made no sense being the champion. He was better off as the chaser. I agree with all of that. My thing is, I personally think that John Cena was the guy you needed around this period because of all the drama that's been going on with WWE. They needed a face like John Cena to basically help represent the company and help them, not look so bad, And then to top it off, this match was really good. This is my favorite out of the John Cena, Randy Orton, their 500 match-a-palooza. Like, I like this more than the Cell matches. I like this more than the Iron Man match. There's an argument for the I Quit match. I do like this one more because this was just two wrestlers just straight up going at it. And this was around the time where they weren't shoehorning these matches left and right. I really enjoyed this match. I really thought that this was a great way to send the crowd home happy. And, like I said, it was the match of the night outside of anything in this show. The closest was Mysterio and Chavo, but then people were over Mysterio Chavo matches. This show overall sucked outside of the main event, which is why I'm giving this show a D-. It's a really unfortunate turn of events. Everybody was out injured. There was a bad publicity for WWE, and it just fell at the wrong place at the wrong time. Luckily, 2008 is way much better. 2009 was very entertaining. We're eventually going to get to the Nexus. But I think we're good. I think over time, this is around the time where SummerSlam slaps hard and we get good shows, starting with 2008, which I'll get to when I get to. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you at that review.